Hello, and welcome back to our four-part series on healing toxic shame in relationships. So far, we have explored a definition and the origins of toxic shame, plus an exercise to connect to shame in your body. We looked at the signs of toxic shame organized by attachment style and how to heal the associated negative beliefs with 4 archetypes for healing and a cognitive reframing and focus wheel exercise. Then we looked at the benefits of healthy shame versus toxic shame and used a creative exercise and the symbol of the mask to tell the difference. Now, in today's 4th and final installment, we're going to explore a definition for both simple and complex emotional blocks and how they are formed around the experience of toxic shame. Then we are going to explore a hands-on creative tool and exercise for healing these blocks with a nature-inspired art therapy directive. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on more content like this. And be sure to comment with your thoughts and experiences below. Now with that, let's dive right in. So what is the relationship between toxic shame and emotional blocks? Well, toxic shame often starts in childhood when we get harmful messages about our emotions through direct rejection or having them mislabeled. This creates what I call emotional blocks, where feelings like anger, joy, or sadness become tangled up with shame. Over time, this makes it really hard to process and express emotions in a healthy way. Instead, people rely on unhealthy coping mechanisms because they've learned to either shut down or misinterpret their emotions. So let's start by looking at a simple emotional block. A simple emotional block happens when a child's emotions are rejected, criticized, or punished. The child learns that the emotion itself, like anger or sadness, is bad or unacceptable. And instead of understanding that maybe their behavior needs to change, they start believing that the emotion itself is wrong. So for example, let's say a young child feels angry when another kid takes away their toy. So they yell and they get upset. Instead of acknowledging the child's upset and teaching them how to handle it through empathy and modeling the capacity to share, the caregiver scolds them. Stop being so angry. That's bad behavior. Well, the child now associates anger with being bad. And over time, they suppress their anger because they believe feeling angry in and of itself is wrong. And now they start to struggle with personal boundaries and shared emotional and physical spaces. This can lead to bottling up their emotions, which often results in passive-aggressive behavior or random explosive outbursts when they've held things in for too long. Then we might have a complex emotional block. So this goes a step further. Here, not only are the child's emotions rejected, but they're also mislabeled and distorted, which creates even more confusion. So the child starts associating a normal emotion, like anger, with something negative, like selfishness or weakness. So this time a child feels angry because their emotional needs aren't being met, like when a parent doesn't give them the attention that they want when they're upset. So instead of recognizing the child's anger as a sign of an unmet emotional need, the caregiver brushes it off and mislabels it. Oh, you're just being selfish, always wanting things your way. Now the child begins to associate their anger with being selfish. As they grow up, they might avoid expressing anger altogether, or feel guilty when they do because they now see it as selfishness. So with this disowning of the anger, they struggle to identify and advocate for their own needs and boundaries, slipping into people-pleasing and being vulnerable to emotional manipulation or control, unable to stand up for themselves, believing that they need to earn love through self-sacrificing behaviors. So overall, whether it is simple or complex, emotional blocks lead to serious challenges with managing emotions. The main difference is that simple emotional blocks make people believe the emotion itself is wrong, whereas complex emotional blocks make people believe that they are inherently bad or unworthy for feeling the emotion. With a simple emotional block, a child feels angry and is told being angry is bad, so they avoid angry feelings. With a complex emotional block, a child feels angry and is told, you're selfish for feeling angry. So not only does the child feel they need to suppress and deny the feeling of anger, but they also come to believe they're selfish and a weak person for feeling it. Now, both types of emotional blocks make it difficult to process emotions in a healthier way. Over time, They lead to emotional confusion, distrust of our own feelings, and struggles with emotional control in challenging situations. And so, our exercise today for healing toxic shame and emotional blocks in relationships revolves around conceptualizing the healing process by visualizing the metaphor of a seed growing into a tree. By using the natural metaphor of a seed growing into a tree, individuals can symbolically explore the roots of their emotional blocks and see how they can grow into something healthier and more nurturing. The tree represents resilience, growth, and the transformation of toxic shame into self-compassion and emotional awareness. So I'm going to have you begin by thinking about a simple or a complex emotional block that you experience, such as feeling that anger or sadness is wrong, which would be a simple block, or associating a natural emotion with a negative character trait, like feeling as if anger is selfish or feeling joyful is boastful. That would be a complex block. There might even be a specific memory or a situation from childhood that first pops up in your mind when you think about a shame-based emotional block that you carry. And if that pops in, welcome it. I'm also going to have you grab some drawing materials to get started and pull out your paper there. So on your paper there, you're going to start by drawing the representation of a seed at the bottom of the page. And this is going to represent the block that you chose. From that seed, I invite you to draw roots growing down into the ground. These roots represent the early experiences or harmful messages from caregivers and others that caused this emotional block to form. You might write down some words, maybe draw some symbols, or just use colors to depict these roots that remind you of those early experiences. These roots connect those past experiences to the present emotional block, but they also represent an important acknowledgement of the coping skills you likely developed around it that have shaped you into who you are, and maybe even in positive ways. Now, once you've finished drawing the roots, we're going to begin to draw the rest of the tree, starting with the trunk and extending into the branches, foliage, and any fruits. These aspects symbolize the process of healing. And as you move upward from the roots, you're going to focus on how you've started to change and heal from these old beliefs. You're going to use shapes, patterns, or more words that reflect growth, resilience, or any other positive realizations that you've had on this journey. How might the emotions that you've suppressed or buried now have a positive impact on your life? The branches, for example, they could represent your new, healthier ways of reframing your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. So instead of thinking anger is bad, maybe there's a branch that says, anger is a signal that my boundaries have been crossed. Instead of expressing joy makes me boastful, you might write, my joy is a part of who I am, and it is safe to share myself with people. So once you've completed your tree, you might take a moment to step back and observe it and reflect on how the seed, which represents your emotional block, has grown into something more resilient and positive through this process of healing. How does it feel to visualize your block as something natural like a seed? How does it feel to see your journey of growth represented as a tree with deep roots, a strong trunk, and new branches? What new realizations or feelings come up for you during this process? Now, if you're willing to share some of your experiences, I would love to see that in the comments below. And let's wrap this up with some final thoughts. Now, in this 4-part video series, we have taken a deep dive into healing toxic shame, exploring its impact on emotions, relationships, and self-worth. In the first installment, we uncovered the origins of toxic shame and connected with our bodies through an exercise designed to make shame tangible. The second video focused on the signs of toxic shame through the lens of attachment styles, guiding you through archetypes and reframing exercises to heal negative beliefs. In the third installment, we distinguished healthy shame from toxic shame using a creative exercise with the symbol of a mask. This helps you discern the difference. And today, in our fourth and final video, we explored the nature of simple and complex emotional blocks, which often form around toxic shame. We used a nature-inspired art therapy exercise to help you visualize how these blocks could be transformed. By understanding how emotional blocks are formed and symbolically represented as seeds that can grow into resilient trees, we've gained a powerful tool for reframing toxic beliefs and fostering emotional healing. Now, together, this series provides you with foundational steps for reclaiming your emotional well-being. And if you enjoyed this series and are interested in taking the work deeper, and it can go so much deeper, I invite you to click the link attached to this video and take the quick and easy attachment styles quiz. It will give you a personalized explanation of your attachment styles, strengths, struggles, and growth challenges, and how my healing frameworks can help you break free from toxic shame once and for all. Now, many of my students have experienced radical changes once they start using experiential approaches like this. Take Ava, for example. When Ava joined my course, she could intellectually recognize unhealthy relational patterns, but struggled to break free of them. Through the experiential activities, she was able to connect deeply with her emotions, allowing her to finally release the blocks that had been holding her back. Here are a few words from Ava about her experience.
I was very much looking at stopping unhealthy patterns that I've been repeating all my life in intimate relationships. So I could intellectually see those patterns, but I was unable to break out of them. The course to me has been very helpful in releasing emotions through a lot of the experiential activities. So the combination of the two things to me has been an absolute winner, very, very different to anything else I've done before. Looking at the emotions, looking at where they are, looking at the colors, that helped me know what I actually felt, because I actually didn't know how I felt. I don't necessarily think they're negative emotions anymore. I think they're alert systems, which is quite different. This is as well at looking at the family compositions and the energies between the family members, and that was incredibly useful to see. Make some very, very big life changes since I've done this course. Definitely worth it, yes. Do not hesitate. It will help you feel your emotions, go to your body and kind of process through that. So I would say just do it. I think it was definitely very worth doing this course.
Now, if you'd like to learn more, be sure to click the link attached to this video and take those first steps on your journey. As you move forward, remember that healing from toxic shame requires letting go of outdated beliefs, embracing healthier emotional patterns, and practicing self-compassion. The exercises and tools that we've covered in these videos and in my courses are designed to support you in taking practical steps towards deeper emotional awareness and stronger, more secure relationships. Thank you for watching this video series. I hope that you found it helpful and insightful. I invite you to please leave your comments below and share your thoughts, and subscribe to my channel for more content on building secure and loving relationships. Your support means a lot to me, and I look forward to continuing this journey with you. Thank you, and have a great week.